Are you feeling it? Are you feeling Friday? We are here at CCO and CBSN Minnesota. Nice to have you with us here on this Friday morning. I'm Jason DeRusha. Welcome to the CBSN Minnesota Daybreaker. Yep, we changed the name of the 734 because, as it turns out, not all of you are watching this at 734. So we also want to give a shout out to our streaming service, CBSN Minnesota, where you also can watch the Daybreaker. A little more casual look at the news and the weather. And the weather is delivered by a guy who only knows how to live in the weather. Luckily, this forecast is prepared by a true weather professional. Meteorologist Mike Augustinek has put this together for you. The Daybreaker forecast. You don't want to show it? So what? It's the wrong graphic. We can show it. See, sometimes we're like, we mess up just like you. It's fine. Guys are so nervous. They're nervous back there. Someone's going to get an email. DeRusha put the wrong graphic on the screen. No one cares. It's Friday. Please. All the managers are probably at their fancy cabins or something now, right? Don't you think? Here's the deal. We're going to have some isolated showers possible tonight. And this whole weekend is going to be a little strange when it comes to humidity and storms coming. So you're going to want to keep the WCCO weather app available. I'm not saying this as a shill. I use the weather app every day. The radar is fantastic. It'll give you alerts when storms are coming. So stay tuned to that because there may be a chance for some severe weather, especially overnight Saturday into Sunday. Mike says you should have a dry period on Saturday. So if you want to do some stuff outside, that is your window. Let's talk about this. I'm fascinated by this story. In Los Angeles, super rich, famous people are over the coronavirus pandemic. They're over being told they can't see any other people, and so they're having house parties. And LA is banning them. Look at the scenes here. I mean, look at this house, right? You're like, hey, I've got a $25 million mansion. I'm going to do what I want. Well, the city has said, we're going to shut off the water and the power to homeowners throwing massive events. They'll give you 48 hours notice. They say they're going to focus on repeat offenders. But we want to know what you think about this. Is this a fair punishment to get people to knock it off, or is this going too far? I mean, if this were regular people, I would be opposed to this. But I sort of love the idea of the fact that these uber rich people who are thumbing their nose at the public health recommendations, that the city's like, that's cool. Power off. Leave a comment on the WCCO TV Facebook page. We'll read through a couple in a moment. Let's get you up to date on the news for this Friday. And starting today, voters in Minneapolis, if you're nervous about your absentee ballot or your mail-in ballot, you can drop off your primary ballot in person at a drive-through. You might be worried that it won't be postmarked in time, it won't be counted in time. And of course, a big election with the Ilhan Omar, Antoine Melton Mukes primary on Tuesday, so just a couple days away. So today, tomorrow, Monday, if you've got an absentee or mail-in ballot, you can drop it off in person at Election and Voter Services Building, which is 980 East Hennepin Avenue. If you're driving around tonight and over the weekend, you should be aware that if you're headed from the St. Paul area into downtown Minneapolis, Interstate 94 is not going to get it done for you. It'll be closed between 280 and 35W. Only the westbound lanes, they're doing some resurfacing work. They did the reverse last weekend. Closes at 10 Friday night, should be reopened by Monday morning. So your option is kind of going north and scooting around. You can take 36, you can take 610 down to 35, so you've got your options that way. Minnesota has a new top teacher.
Congratulations to this change maker, Korsha Hassan of Minnesota.
Yeah, Korsha Hassan named the 2020 Teacher of the Year by Education Minnesota, state's largest teachers union. Hassan is a fourth grade teacher at Echo Park Elementary in Burnsville. We talked with her live in the WCCO Morning Show. Just really bright woman with thoughts about the future of teaching. She says her experiences of, being Somali American has her in touch with her marginalized students. It makes her fight harder for the quality of their education. She had some good thoughts, too, about having more black teachers in the Minnesota teaching force. So look to hear more from her in a leadership position over the next year. White House and Democrats struggling to find common ground on another stimulus package. The Republicans and Democrats, you knew they weren't going to lock and agree on this thing. The main sticking point is the $600 a week in extra unemployment benefits that ran out last month. Democrats just want to renew it and have the $600 again. Republicans are saying, we want to slash it, maybe $200, maybe $400. White House officials say the president just wants to get money to people, and he may take executive action if negotiations fail. Both sides do agree that, another stimulus check, another $1,200 cash payment to many Americans is a good idea. How about this with the governor of Ohio, Mike DeWine? First, he said he tested positive for coronavirus hours before he was to greet President Trump. If you're going to greet the president, you have to get tested. He tested positive before that visit to Ohio. But then later in the day, the governor's office released a statement saying, we did another test and this one was negative. How weird is this, right? He's going to be tested again tomorrow out of an abundance of caution. But part of the fact that all these tests are so new, you do get some false positives, you do get some false negatives. So we'll test them again and see what's happening. President Donald Trump trying to shut down TikTok, right? He doesn't like the savage. He doesn't like it. He's like, I'm over these stupid dances. No, the concern is about Chinese ownership. The president issued an executive order, and he said, look, you got 45 days to sell this thing. Microsoft wants to buy it. President Trump's like, get it done. White House officials claim the app takes location and personal information of users, could turn that over to the Chinese government. And we've seen other nations around the world taking this same action out of the same concern. Earlier yesterday, the Senate, the military, other federal agencies said, nope, you can't have this app on a federal device. National Rifle Association under fire this morning, accused of years of corruption and misspending millions of dollars. New York's Attorney General wants to shut the NRA down. In a lawsuit, she claims four of the group's leaders used millions of NRA funds for personal things like lavish trips for their families. There's been some reporting about this. The NRA calling the lawsuit a baseless attack on the organization and an attack on Second Amendment freedoms. Okay, check this out. Authorities say they have uncovered an unfinished tunnel stretching from Arizona to Mexico, built right under the border wall. It's been labeled as the most sophisticated tunnel in U.S. history. Federal agents say it was intended for smuggling drugs, with a ventilation system in there, water lines, electrical wiring, a rail system, so drug smuggling, maybe human smuggling as well. But that tunnel now being shut down. All right, Sturgis. Would you go if you're a Harley rider or a motorcyclist? Maybe you have, a tradition of going up to South Dakota. Motorcyclists from Minnesota, western Wisconsin certainly will be heading out to this. A friend of mine is going. Health officials worried about the crowd size. Organizers are expecting 250,000 people. So this would be the biggest event since the pandemic started. A lot of it outdoors, but people are going to go indoors, and that's where we have more of the larger health concerns. So hopefully things go well, but I think if I were a Sturgis goer, I would take a pass this year. We'll see you next year, Sturgis. Let's get back to today's talker. What about LA? Going after the rich, shutting down the parties by shutting off the water. First of all, this is happening in Minnesota, right? Some super rich people with their mega mansions along Lake Minnetonka having house parties. I wouldn't go. Under normal circumstances, if you want to invite me to your mega mansion, I will drink your $300 a bottle wine. But during this, pretty crazy, I think, to do this. Eric is here with some of your comments. Eric, are people in favor of messing with the rich people?
We're split on this one.
Oh, all right.
Kimberly says, whether you agree to the rules or not, you need to follow them. Nobody is above the law.
Yeah.
Michelle says, I'm just going to read it. Michelle says, people do not think we are turning into a socialist country. Wake up, people.
Yeah. Wake up. I don't know. In LA, they've had much bigger outbreaks. I think people would have a different reaction if they were doing this to regular people, right? Well, if you're shutting off the power and shutting off the water of Larry, who lives in Burnsville and has a 3-bedroom split level, I think that would be a little more upsetting. This I enjoy, and I take great pleasure and glee at it. Yeah. I think it's beautiful.
Relativism at its finest.
That's what it is. For sure it's not fair. I admit it. I admit my hypocrisy
biases.
Here. Right.
Jackie says, don't turn the power back on.
Ever.
Just leave it off.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're basically split. We're
I get
between
it.
the personal liberty and
Yeah.
Rich people deserve to follow the rules like the rest of us.
Right. Yes, if we have to follow the rules, I don't know. Who's going to a giant house party? What is wrong with you people? Outdoors? Hey, that I still don't know. I feel maybe we'll do a story on this. I don't really know. Like, am I supposed to feel good outdoors or not? They're warning people about Sturgis. They're telling people it's okay. I don't know.
Yeah, actually come back to us with this story when it's winter here and we can't have outdoor.
Well, yes, that'll be very different. That's it. That's the Daybreaker from CBSN Minnesota, your only local streaming news source. Why would anybody else even try since we're doing it so well? Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, everybody.